Hi, I'm Brittany Musser, and this is my self-concept presentation. This is the item I chose as my artifact because it represents me in many different ways. This item is personal because baking is my favorite hobby, and using a whisk is one of my favorite tools to bake. This item is social because oftentimes I cook meals for my family and we sit around and socialize while we eat. This item is also cultural because I'm able to connect with other cultures, like my fiance's who's Mexican, by recreating traditional dishes of their culture. My personal identity consists of three main things: Halloween, baking, and being vegan. As you can probably tell by all the photos in the slide, Halloween is one of my absolute favorite holidays and it has a huge impact on who I am. I really enjoy the entire fall season, from eating pumpkin spice flavored food to watching cheesy seasonal Hallmark movies. I'm my most happy and confident when the weather gets chilly, the leaves turn color, and seasonal activities like pumpkin patches and apple picking begin. I also have an Instagram account dedicated to horror movie reviews where I can connect and socialize with a community of like minded Halloween lovers. Baking and cooking. As I said earlier, baking and cooking are one of my favorite hobbies. This is essential to who I am. I have a foodie Instagram dedicated to all the recipes I make, also a website where I share my recipes, and a YouTube channel where I upload grocery hauls. I have such a strong passion for food, and I'm almost always thinking of different recipe ideas. A longtime goal of mine is to open a food truck where I can share my knowledge and love of baking with others. Being vegan. I went vegetarian at the age of 13 and went vegan at 20. This means that I have not eaten meat for 13 years. I view this as being one of my greatest accomplishments in life. Going vegan has completely shaped who I am. It has influenced my opinions, my eating habits, my outlook on life, my ethics, my health, my lifestyle, and even the people I hang out with. Being vegan is a giant part of who I am and how I view myself, and it always will be. My social identity consists of my family, my fiance, and my coworkers. Each of these groups has shaped how I see myself because of comparison and feedback. Like our book says, we can only judge certain traits about ourselves based on how we compare to others. For example, I'm very outgoing compared to my family, but I'm considered more of a homebody compared to my coworkers. Cultural identity. I'm currently in the stage of cultural identity search. I'm made up of many different things: Italian, Irish, Swedish, English, German, but I never knew where our family came from. I ask my family frequently about our history, but not much is known. While looking through scrapbooks at my grandma's house just a few days ago, I found out I'm Jewish. My great 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 grandfather on my dad's side is Jewish and immigrated from Lithuania to America. He's pictured below. My significant experience. The significant experience that completely changed and shaped my life and who I am and how I see the world is my cousin's suicide. My cousin Tony was 14 years older than me, but we were like best friends. We had a lot of fun together, but we also both suffered from depression. And his depression became too much, and he took his life in 2014. This experience was the worst thing that I've gone through. I had never felt so much pain before. This experience shaped who I am because it made me realize exactly how precious life is. I dealt with suicidal thoughts often back then, and after Tony took his life and I got to see firsthand what it did to myself and my family, I realized I could never do that. I value life much higher now because I know how devastating it can be to take it away. Tony had these very distinct tattoos on his eyebrows that said agony and ecstasy. This signified the good and the bad of life. Agony and ecstasy are intertwined. You cannot have happiness if you've never experienced sadness before. This resonated so deeply with me that I got those same tattoos tattooed on me in remembrance. Self-concept. Due to my significant experience and my self-concept, I've learned a few things. I learned to express emotions as I feel them. Bottling things up does not help. Being sensitive and open with your feelings is okay. This actually shows strength, not weakness. I've learned not to judge others. You never know what someone's going through, so don't perceive someone a certain way without getting to know them first. I also have learned to be careful with personal information and to not share too much during communication. Communication to improve. I would most like to continue working on my relationship. I plan to use perception checking as a useful tool to help both my fiance and I during arguments. My fiance is very important to me, and I want both of us to communicate as effectively as possible with each other to avoid arguments caused by misunderstandings. Conclusion. In conclusion, I'm a 24-year-old vegan searching for my cultural identity who loves cooking, baking, and everything related to Halloween. My family, my coworkers, and my fiance play a big role in how I view myself, and I've experienced significant life events that have changed how I view life. All these things make up who I am and how I see myself.